Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. I welcome you to a special broadcast in our AccountMate Vertical Solution Webinar Series. My name is Michael DeBarris, Business Development Manager for AccountMate. And today we are pleased to have Lisa Irwin from iSoft Systems introduce for the first time AMmobile for AccountMate software. AMmobile is a native iPad application that integrates with AccountMate in real time and allows users to manage customers, view inventory, and create quotes, orders, and shipments while away from the office. Lisa Irwin, owner of iSoft Systems, has been modifying AccountMate and providing technical support to business partners and their clients since 1990. Lisa's expertise in AccountMate and her years of experience in mobile app development has created a solution with the objective of revolutionizing the AccountMate user experience. The result is what you will be seeing today in AccountMate. Before I turn this over to Lisa and Sean, a few housekeeping items. All attendees will be in listen-only mode, but during the course of the presentation, please feel free to submit any questions you may have by using the dialog box in your navigation window at the bottom right of your screen. Our session will last approximately 45 minutes with 15 minutes remaining for Q&A. So with that, I would like to give the floor over to Lisa Irwin. Lisa.
Hi, thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I would like to introduce you to Sean Irwin. He's going to be driving this webinar, and I'm going to be talking. He is the programmer for the front end of this application, and I have another programmer, Rita, who is the programmer for the back end of the application. Both very awesome, I might add. All right, the webinar topics that we're going to go over today are: what is AMmobile, and what's the purpose of this webinar? The requirements for the system, and we'll go through the user and system setups. I'll give you an overview of the 3 types of things you can do in AMmobile, which is customers, transactions, and inventory. And then we'll go through a couple of scenarios to see how it actually is in real life. And then we'll go over pricing and availability and Q&A. All right, what is AMmobile? It is a native iPad app. It means it was written specifically for the iPad, and it'll revolutionize your AccountMate experience. It brings creating quotes, selling products, scanning barcodes, accepting credit cards, getting driving directions, adding customer notes and inventory images, all to your fingertips. There's so many things it can be used for, and probably more things that we haven't even thought of. Traveling salespeople, truck sales, remote sales officers, showrooms, party-type sales, and much more. The purpose of this webinar is, first of all, to see AMmobile in action, to see how you can launch your business into the 21st century by going mobile, and to get excited. The system requirements might be a little technical for some of you guys that aren't techies, but you have to have, this part isn't, you have to have an iPad or an iPad mini with iOS 5 or later, and an internet connection is required. There's an optional device that you can use for barcode scanning and credit card swiping called the AccountMate, and we have another slide showing you that. And then in the office, you have to have a computer with web services enabled, access to the internet, access to AccountMate, version 8 database, the ability to run PHP, and an SSL certificate is optional if you want higher security. And enrollment into the Apple Volume Purchasing Program, which allows you to do business-to-business applications. The Infinia tab looks like this device that you attach to the iPad, and that allows you to scan your barcodes and credit cards, scan your barcodes and swipe your credit cards, that's what it is. And you can go to www.ipcprint.com to see what different models are available. That would be purchased directly from the Infinia tab if you wanted to do that. Okay, let's see it. When you first install AMmobile, when you download it, you'll get an icon that looks like that on the iPad. Now, right now, we're looking at Sean's actual iPad. He has a program on his computer that lets us see what he's actually seeing on his iPad. Sometimes the refresh rate from his iPad to the computer is a little slow, but if you were actually sitting on the iPad, it's quick. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to tap on AMmobile. And this is the very first time we've logged in. We just downloaded it. So we need to get authorization from the office to be able to use this app. So we tap on Request Authorization, and what that does is it sends a request to the server for someone in the office to authorize this device to be used for AMmobile. So let's go over to AccountMate, and let's see what that did. We created our own module called AMmobile in AccountMate. There's only 3 menu items in there currently, and we'll go through each one of them. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the installation maintenance. This is where the request was sent to authorize Sean's iPad. So there it is. Shows what iOS build he's on in case we need him to update, and shows what AMmobile build, etc. We're going to change his status to authorized. So now this device can go into AMmobile. We're going to save that and exit. Now we have to set Sean up as a user. So we're going to go into AMmobile User Security and set up Sean. The filter by salesperson checkbox that you see there is if Sean is a salesperson in the field and we check that box and we put in his AccountMate salesperson number, the only thing that will be downloaded to his iPad are the customers in which he is the salesperson, and also all the transactions that are associated to those customers. So we're going to give him rights to everything right now. We're not going to filter by salesperson for this demonstration. The third and final menu item in AMmobile is the module setup. I'm going to just touch on a few of these. The first one, in AMmobile, you have the ability to create an order and ship the order all at the same time in one transaction. If you do that and you're creating, let's say you're at a trade show kind of thing, and you're creating an order that is fully shipped, you have the option of having it create the order and the shipment and the invoice in AccountMate, or just the invoice in AccountMate and skip the order and the shipment part. So you have 3 options here. You can always create the order. You can ask the user if they want to create the order, or you can never create the order and just go straight to the invoice. Obviously, if it's a partially shipped order, the order will always be created regardless. This application is integrated with Authorized.net. So if you want to swipe the credit cards, you will need to get an Authorized.net account, and this is where you would put in your Authorized.net username and password. And because AccountMate allows you to have multiple pay codes for each type of credit card, we need to tell AMmobile which AccountMate pay code is associated with each of these credit card types. So this is where you would do that. And that's pretty much it. Okay, now let's go back over to the iPad side. Now we know the office has approved us. We called them up. They said okay. So we're going to tap on Refresh Authorization Status. That goes out and checks the authorization status, and now we are able to log in. Right now what it's doing is it's downloading the first-time download of the customers that we've specified and the transactions for the last 12 months for those customers. And this, right now we have a sample data set, so it's going to go pretty quick. This could be a little bit lengthy if you have lots and lots of customers, but it's a one-time thing. After this point, you will stay in sync. Let's go to the iPad app settings, the AMmobile settings first, and just take a look at what we have in here. We're just going to touch on a few of these right now, and we'll come back to them later. The first thing is the active company. So we're logged into widget processing. If we wanted to change our company, that's where we would do it, and it would relog us in. We can pick a different company. The customer settings. Right now there's only one thing under customer settings, which is how many customers to download. So if you have really tiny transactions and you have tons of them and you're not going to have space on your iPad to download 1,000, you might want to change this number to 500. And what it does is it sorts the customers by the last sales date in descending order and takes the top N, the top 1,000 in this case, from top to bottom, and then it downloads the sales orders, quotes, and invoices for those customers for the last 12 months that are dated within the last 12 months. Okay. The resync with server at the bottom, if at some point in time maybe you lose your connection while you're syncing and the server thinks that you have data that you don't really have, you can tap on the resync with server and it will delete everything on the iPad and then re-download it from the server. So that's what that button's for. And then we'll come back to this a little bit later and go through some of the other ones. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, we have 3 views in AccountMate, in AMmobile: customers, transactions, and inventory. In customers, this is where you will manage your customers, look at the customer history, etc. I can search in here for a particular customer. If I don't know the customer name or number, I can search Sally, and it'll bring up all the customers that have Sally as a contact in there. And there's a number of other things I can search for too, but right now this is the one that I'm interested in looking at, so I'm going to click on Doodad Manufacturing. And this is your customer information, so if we scroll up, we can see we're basically keeping the same information that AccountMate keeps. There's 4 tabs at the bottom. The second one is transactions. If we go over there, we can see invoices for the last 12 months, all their open quotes, open orders, the balance, last invoice date, last payment date. Now we can drill down even further from here if we want to see what are the open quotes. Let's tap on open quotes, and it'll show us the quotes that are open. We only have 1. And if we tap on that, we can see the actual quote information. Okay, and you can do that with each of the other types of things too, invoices, etc. The notepad is the 3rd tab at the bottom. If we tap on that, this is where we keep all the notes for the customer. And the settings tab is pretty much similar to AccountMate settings tab. We don't have as many things in here, but that's basically what's in the settings. Okay, let's go back to the views. And let's look at the transactions. Notice in transactions we have 4 sections. We have the quotes, the orders, and Sean will tap on those, and the invoices, and then all. So we can see the different types of transactions that we have. We can also sort these transactions in different ways. So the way you sort is to tap on the little sort by, and let's sort by billing company. And you can see it sections it out. We have some, I thought we got rid of that bad data. We have some bad data in here that's making some of these but unclassified. But this is, it breaks it down by company. Now if we go back to invoices, oh wait, no, I need to search first. I wanted to search, let's say I want to see the transactions with a PO number 12345, because the customer calls and says, I have a PO 12345, what's the status? Well, I can see that I have 1 order and 2 invoices for 12345 PO. And as you go to the different sections, you go to invoices, you see that it will just show you the invoices. You go to orders, it keeps your filter in there. And those are the orders, and then I go to quotes, and I don't have any quotes with that PO number. And then to clear my filter, I just tap on the 12345 box and X, click on the X, and it'll clear my filter, and I go back to where I was. Okay, let's go back to views, and now the inventory. I'm not going to go into the inventory right now because we'll be in there in a second. But that's where you look and see what you have on order, on hand, etc. That's basically the overview. Now I'm going to jump right into the scenarios. Scenario 1 is I am a traveling salesperson. Before I leave home, I talked to a potential customer. Actually, they're an existing customer of ours, but I'm new to their account. And I talked to them about some products that they're interested in, and I have an appointment with them. And there's a couple things I want to look at just to review before I go to my appointment. The first thing I want to do is I want to go into the inventory. And I know that they are interested in our 3-drawer chest because we talked about that on the phone. So I want to go into the 3-drawer chest, and I want to take a look at, oh, actually, right now I can see that we have 28, without even going into it, I can see we have negative 28 available and 50 on order. So it looks like we're going to be good, but I'd like to know a little bit more detail about when they're going to come in, et cetera. So I'll tap on the 3-drawer chest. And let me go down, and I see that we have 6 out at a trade show right now. So I have, in the main warehouse, I have negative 34 available. Let's see what makes up that number by tapping on that cell. We have 50 on order and 34 booked. We can look and see when, let's tap on the on order, and we can see when those are going to be expected to come in. Okay, those are going to come in March 28th, hopefully. So that gives me an idea that in a week we should have some more of these. All right, let's click done on this, and we can also look at the booked and see who has who these items are booked for right now, just in case we're curious. Okay, so we can see that. All righty. Now, one of the other things is I noticed that on this particular item, I don't have any images. I don't have an image for this item. And that's not going to look good when I want to show him the image. So there's 3 ways that I can get an image onto this item. I can either copy it from my iPad photo library. I can take a picture and put it in there, or I can copy and paste it from a website. Now, let's first go into AccountMate and see that we do not have an image on this item. Okay, now we're going to go to the website. We know that we have an image out on our company website for our 3-drawer chest. So let's go out there, and there's our 3-drawer chest. It's really cool looking. And we're going to take that, and we're going to tap and hold and hit copy. And then we're going to go back to AMmobile, and we're going to tap and hold and hit paste. And voila, our image is there. Let's go over to AccountMate now. And there's our image. So that's one way of getting images into your AccountMate. You could actually take this around the warehouse or your showroom floor and take pictures and put the images on your items this way, taking pictures on the iPad. Okay, one last thing I want to do. I'm ready to go to my clients, but I want to know how long it's going to take me to get there, what does the traffic look like, and how to get there. So I'm going to go back into the customer view, and I'm going to go to my doodad. That's where we're going today. And I am going to the Melrose Avenue in LA address. So I'm going to tap on that and tap MAC address. And I can see where it is in relationship to where Sean is. I can get directions. Oh my gosh, LA traffic is really bad. It will tell me, this is just built into the iPad, that it's going to take me about 1 hour and 5 minutes right now to get there. And it will go ahead and, whoops, tell me how to get there. It would start talking. He might have that turned off right now. So it's going to take me 1 hour and 5 minutes. I better get going. All right. So Now I arrive at the client site. I don't know where he's going. Let's get out of there. And the client wants a quote. They really love our 3-door chest. It looks really awesome, and they want a quote. So I'm going to create a quote for them right now. Tapping on the plus in the upper right hand, create a quote. Okay, he has told me that he wants these items in by April 15th, so let's change the request date to April 15th. You want to turn off, I don't know, turn off the navigation. It's still taking us to the customer site. Let's turn that off so it's not flashing. Okay, so we're going to add our 3-door chest. So we tap on add, put in the 3-door chest. It says it's $270. Let me see what makes up that $270, because I think this customer has a discount. Yeah, down there you see he has a 10% discount. The retail price is $300. And actually it's a she. She says, Sally, if I order 5 of these, will you give me a bigger discount? So I say, sure. I want to make sure I make this customer happy. So we're going to change the order quantity to 5, and we'll go ahead and give her a 12% discount. And save that. Okay. Now let's go and look at the transaction details. Okay, we're going to add a system remark. Everything else looks good. That 10% there is just their default percentage. We're going to put in a thank you system remark, and we can go ahead and add to this remark if we want to. So we're done with that. And let's look at the shipping and billing details. Okay, all that looks good. Let's go ahead and submit the quote. This goes out to AccountMate and make sure everything's good and post it to AccountMate. Okay, order 1112, or quote number 112 has been successfully created. Let's go over and look at it in AccountMate. It's a quote, and we have the line item. Let's take a note of how many booked we have. We have 34 booked. Okay, let's go back to our app so we see that that quote did post to AccountMate. We'll go back to our app. All right, now we're driving home. Sally has to get approval from her manager in order to make this an order. But she was so excited about our 3-door chest that as soon as I left, she went to her supervisor and they said, yep, we like it, we like the price, let's go ahead and order it. So as soon as I get back home, I get a phone call and she says, let's go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and approve that quote. So I go into my quote here, and everything looks good on it still. I can change it now if I want to, but I'm going to go ahead and approve it as is. So let's approve the quote. Okay, the quote is now approved. Let's go over to AccountMate, and we'll notice that our booked quantity, which used to be 34, is now 39, because we just ordered 5 more. And it's now in order. Let's go back to our app. I forgot to point one thing out, a small thing. As soon as Sean approved that quote, it jumped us from the quote section to the order section because that's now in order. So 112 is now in the order section. It's a sales order, not a sales quote at the top. All right, that is, we just made that sale, and that is the end of our scenario 1. Now let's jump into scenario 2. Scenario 2 is a mobile inventory type scenario, and in our particular case, it's going to be a trade show. We transferred a bunch of items from our main warehouse to a trade show warehouse. We drove out to a trade show, and now we're going to start selling product. Before we get started, the first thing we want to do is go into the app settings again, and we're going to make a couple changes here because we're at the trade show, we don't want the transactions to default to AccountMate's normal transactions. We're shipping from a different warehouse because we're going to just hand them the product on site. We are going to be charging the sales tax of wherever the location is of the trade show. So we can go in here, and we're also going to default to our order quantity, or ship quantity, to our order quantity. So when we put in that they order to, it's automatically going to default that we're shipping to. We can change it if we want, but for the most part, we're going to have the product that they want. So let's change our ship via to trade show, our freight code to trade show, our warehouse to trade show, and our sales tax is, we're doing a trade show in LA, and so we're going to put the LA tax code. Authorize.net, when we first signed into AMmobile for the first time, it went out to Authorize.net and sent a request to authorize this device for credit card transactions. We don't have to re-register this device. I'm just pointing it out here because if you don't see the request in Authorize.net, you can go ahead and re-register it if something happened to the request. So right now we're going into Authorize.net, and we're going to enable our device for credit card, accepting credit cards. And there's Sean's device. We're going to enable it. And now we can accept credit cards. Okay, back over to the iPad app. One more thing we got to do is we want to go ahead and scan the barcodes and swipe the credit cards where we're at the trade show. So we need to connect our Infinia tab, that device you saw earlier. So Sean happens to have one there. He's going to go ahead and connect it. You can see right now he doesn't have it connected. As soon as he connects it, and you don't have to be on this screen to connect it, but this is just to show you that now it's connected. Anytime you need to do a firmware update on your Infinia tab, it has to be built into the application. So this is where you would go to update your firmware. And also if you need any technical support on the Infinia tab, this is where you would go for the phone number. You can fill out a support request that goes directly to them. Okay, we are ready to take our first order. What we're going to do for simplicity of this demonstration is we have created a trade show customer, which a lot of you might want to do if you go to trade shows, where you don't have to look up the customer every time. We just have, we're going to put all our cash sales under this customer because we don't necessarily care who it went to. So Sean's going to go ahead and create an order in here. And he's going to scan his first item. Right now he has a piece of paper with all the barcodes on it, and he's going to scan a few items in here. And it automatically adds. All he's doing is scanning it. Let's say they want 2 of these. So we're going to change the order quantity to 2, and notice the ship quantity will automatically change. Now he's going to swipe the credit card because they're done. He wants to pay it. We're going to swipe the credit card. And you have the ability to do multiple types of payments. So let's say in this case they just want to put $300 on the credit card. We can change that to $300. And they want to pay the rest in cash. So we can add another payment method, cash, puts the balance on there automatically. And now we can submit the order. When he submits the order, it's going to go out to Authorize.net, authorize the credit card. It's going to go out to AccountMate, make sure everything's good in AccountMate. And then it will go ahead and come back and allow you to either send the receipt via email, print the receipt if you have an e-printer set up, which is they're readily available, or you can open the receipt in another third-party app. Right now we're going to show you that. We're going to open it in an app that we got called Sign Now. And you can open it in any one of these apps or any app that, that you want. This Sign Now will allow you to have the customer sign the receipt. So that's what we're going to show you right now. We're going to sign this. I'm going to insert a signature. And now we have this, and we can email this receipt or print this receipt with a signature from the Sign Now application. Okay, we're going to just do one more. Okay, he's showing you how to email it. Okay, we're going to do one more real quick transaction just to show you, without me talking, how fast it can go if a customer orders something at a trade show. So we're going to do one quick order, or not order something, but buy something at a trade show.
Oops, we ran out of quantity for that.
Oh, we don't have enough. We need to order something else. We don't have that in stock. Well, we had a couple of complications there. It probably would be twice as fast if we didn't pick an item that we didn't have any of. But you can see it can get pretty quick. He's done with that order already. Okay, we're going to do one more order for, let's say you have a customer that's a continuing customer, and they have special pricing set up. We have some multi-level pricing for them. And so we want to go ahead and order this under their account. So we're going to go ahead and create a transaction for, I can't remember who we're going to do. And we can do it from either the customer screen or the transaction screen. Okay, I'll do it for Acme. And what I want to show you here is that they really want, go ahead and scan an item. Try to find one we have enough in stock of. And they really want 5 of these. Well, actually, I guess we don't have to have enough. But we only have 1 at the trade show. So they said, okay, well, I'll take the 1 now. I want you to back order the other 4. So now what we have is we have a situation where we're going to be creating a sales order with a back order and an invoice at the same time. If we go to shipping and billing details, you can see we have a toggle up at the top. This is the settings for the current shipment. And if we go over to the sales order, these are the settings for the back order part of the transaction. So you can have it shipped to a different address or anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this. And that goes in. Oh, we have a problem. Oh, we have to pay for the 1. And we don't actually have to pay for it. We can say that this is going to be termed. We'll bill him. We're going to give it to him right now because we trust him so much that we're going to go ahead and make this, he can pay in 10 days. And all we have to do is put in payment for the stuff that we're handing him right now. The rest of it is on back order, and it uses the terms that he set up in his account. All right, so we're finished with that transaction. So that created the sales order, the invoice, and the back order. That's it for our scenarios. Let's go to pricing and availability slides. Here is the pricing on this. There is a the app is free to download. There's a $2,000 charge for the initial system, which includes the system manager and setup costs. We go in and we set up your server and your web services and all that kind of stuff that you need. And then there's $500 license fee for each active iPad installation. Annual maintenance gives you free tech support, free enhancements, etc. And then if you have modifications to your system, you want them built into the app, then we bill those at an hourly rate, and that's billed through your business partner. We are projected to launch this June 1st. That is a projected date. It's not a hard, fast date. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're moving toward. And as you can see, we are pretty much done. We're just doing the final cleanup, beta testing, etc., and then we'll be ready to go. So the next slide, you can visit www.ammobile.net for more information or to contact us there, or you can contact your AccountMate business partner if you want more information. And that brings us to Q&A, and we're early again. So Michael, do we have any questions out there? Here's our website, by the way.
Yes, Lisa, thank you very much for your presentation. I thought we were going to go a little longer, but I'm sure we'll have questions to answer. So folks, we're going to open up the floor again. Please submit your questions using the dialog box at the lower right of your screen where it says questions. Two things that struck me as the audience is submitting their questions. This is truly revolutionary. Basically extending the AccountMate value to the tablet opens up so many possibilities that this is truly exciting both for AccountMate and for AMmobile. And keep in mind that there were two scenarios that Lisa presented today in terms of use, the on-site sales process and also dealing with trade shows. There's certainly potential for countless other applications, and I'm sure that those in our audience are thinking about those as I speak. So hopefully this promotes a lot of inquiry and basically a lot of dialogue with your customers out there and end users as well. So having said that, we'll go to the Q&A. Our first question deals with data, and the attendee asks, what is the maximum data you can load to the iPad? And this person says that she has 20 years of worth of data on AccountMate. So are there any limits in terms of the data that's inputted on the iPad?
Okay, well, first of all, you have to have the space on your iPad to hold the data. Sean, go into the app and show, I forgot to show where it actually shows how much space the data is taking up. So it will depend on the amount of space you have available on the iPad, and we will only download 1 year's worth of data. Unless you're drilling down. Okay, so our data right now is taking up 700K, which is nothing, but it's not very much data. So we download for the transactions tab, we download everything for the last 12 months. Then when you drill down, like let's just say you have open quotes that are 3 years old. When you drill down to the open quote, it'll go out and grab all of the open quotes that make up that, even if they're 3 years old. So as you drill down, we'll go and get more information, but only the last years will show on there, unless if you do a customer search, and I don't know if you can show this now or not, Sean, but if you do a customer search and that customer, well, we don't have enough data, but if that customer doesn't, oh, okay, there we go. We're going to change it to only download 10 customers, and now he's going to refresh.
Okay, so
now we only have 10 customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so these are, let's say these are however many we thought we wanted, but now I want to do a search, and I don't know what to search for right now. Who's somebody we don't have? Oh.
Okay, so I just searched T, and it says we have 6 customers on the server that match that.
Oh, down there. Okay, down at the bottom. There's 6 customers
that have a T.
That have a T that aren't on our list here, or 6 customers altogether?
Should be 6 customers that aren't on this list.
That aren't on. So if you wanted to get more than what you originally specified, you could tap on that, and it would go and get all the customers that matched your search criteria. So you can bring in little bits at a time if you have something specific that you're looking for. So hopefully that answers that question.
Lisa, as a follow-up to that, can you download customers by territory so that each salesperson only sees his or her customer?
I don't know if maybe they missed the very first part, but if we go into AccountMate, go back into AccountMate, when you set up the user, so we're going to go into the AMmobile, and when you go into user maintenance, you have the ability to filter by salesperson, which means that they will only get their customers. We don't have it to where it's a territory driven. That's something we can add to the next version, or maybe, yeah. Right now it's only by salesperson, so they would see their own customers. So that's something we can add in the future as a territorial type thing. But see, AccountMate doesn't really have a salesperson hierarchy, but we have, yeah, we can probably easily add territory on that screen too, filter by territory, and then just go with that. That would be pretty easy. We'll make a note of that. Sean, make a note of that.
There's your first modification right there.
Yes.
Another question, does this work on the iPhone as well? If so, does it flip to landscape when you turn the phone sideways?
Okay, Sean, well, first let me just show you. If you flip your iPad up and down, it will, and then to get to the views, he just swipes to the right. So it will flip. We didn't program it for the iPhone because we felt that the iPhone was way too small to be entering all the information that we're going to be entering. The thing that, I don't know if we did it, we talked about doing it, and that was just being able to put the customers on the iPad so you can get directions to the, on the iPhone, so you can get directions to the customers' locations. I don't think that we've done that yet. That might be in the next version as well. We're trying to go ahead and get this out the door so people can start using it. So we had to leave some stuff out that we had talked about putting in.
That makes sense.
So right now, no, it's not on the iPhone.
As a follow-up to that, Lisa, is there any ability to modify the screens, for example, to show the customer name as well as the ID and the PO lookup that you presented?
Yes.
We can, yeah, we can modify this in any way that the customer desires. Basically, it is modifiable. It's made to be modifiable, just like AccountMate is. Otherwise, it wouldn't really work with AccountMate. So it's not modifiable by the end user, but it is modifiable by us.
Okay.
And what was the thing they wanted to add? I'm going to make a note of that.
They wanted to show the customer name as well as the ID in the PO lookup.
Well, there is no customer name in the, well, I guess there is if they attach it to a sales order. Okay, right now, yeah, that would be a modification.
Another question from the audience, does the notepad automatically update in AccountMate? As in
yeah, go ahead. Oh, sorry.
As in if the user was at the customer site updating notes, can the people in the office then see the update immediately?
Yep, let's do it.
Cross our fingers.
We're very creative on our samples. ACC1.
Okay. Now keep in mind this is a beta, so some of this stuff hasn't been tested yet. Yeah. But yes, this will, as soon as you
yes.
save, this will go to the AccountMate.
So hopefully that answers the question.
It doesn't show the question, but yeah, that will be working by the time you get it.
Okay. Here's a pricing question for you, Lisa. Do you have a ballpark figure on what the maintenance will be per year per iPad?
25% of the $500.
Okay.
So well, it's if you go, it's well, it's it's $2,000, so 25% of the $2,000 just for overall, and then 25% of the $500, so 125, I think that is, if I can do math in my head. So 125 per year per iPad.
Very good. Another attendee says, while at a trade show, he likes the idea of having a customer setup called Trade Show. But if I do want to keep track of who I sold the product to on the show floor, is there a way to do that?
Oh yeah, we showed you. That was the last order that we showed you. You can just go into your customers and just create an order. It's just, we just set up a customer for Trade Show. But you can use your regular customers as well. Does that answer the question? You can also, if you wanted to, I know other customers that do this, they have a trade show customer, but then they have different bill to and ship tos for those orders so that you have one, everything's under one customer number. But I don't recommend that if they want to actually keep track, because then you won't have reports by a customer. So you can go into your regular customer and do an order shipment just like we did for the trade show customer. Hopefully that answers that question. If not, you can type more in the chat window.
Okay. The follow-up to that, Lisa, can you add customers on the trade show floor on the fly? They're not in his database yet. Can you do that, yes, I guess, from the iPad?
Yes, you can add customers from the iPad.
Okay. Very good. I have a question, and this goes back to the previous presentation last week in regards to reporting. And for example, I envision perhaps an executive wanting to see an executive summary, a data snapshot that AccountMate has as one of the features. And are there plans to include this type of reporting maybe in a phase 2?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Executive summary would be easy to put in here. I'll put that on my notes. Yeah, that would work. That would be pretty simple to do.
And as I was asking that, there was a request for the AR report to be included.
What AR report?
I'm not sure specifically. We'll need to get follow-up from the listener.
Right now, there's no reports that actually print. We're envisioning this as being something you're going to be carrying around with you, and we're hoping that all the information you could need that you would want on a report, it would be at your fingertips here, so that you don't need to print reports. If you want to see what you have on back order for a certain item, you can just go in here and do it. If you want to see what the customer's status of their orders are, you can go in here and do it. And maybe this will, if people can get used to using this, this will eliminate the need to walk around with a piece of paper or to print a piece of paper, because it's already all here. So you have everything you could want right here without having to print multiple reports and all that kind of stuff. That's what our hope is.
Got it. Here's a connectivity question for you. Can you do anything at all if your internet connection goes down? For example, is there any data stored locally on that iPad that you can call up, or can you work offline?
No, we don't. Right now, we don't have it working offline. There's too many. We talked about doing that originally, but there's too many back and forth things that need to sync and check for validation and get new customer numbers. That is not built into this version. I don't anticipate it being in the next version either, unless we have a strong request for it. But that's a kind of a big task.
There's only one situation where you could actually use this app with no internet connection, and that's if you just want to view information and you've already logged in. Like in this case, if I somehow lost my Wi-Fi on my iPad, I would still be able to see all this information because it is stored locally on the iPad. But if I went out of the application and exited all the way and then went back in, it would ask for me to log in, and that needs an internet connection. So really, you'd only be able to use the iPad if you lost it momentarily after you logged in. But you won't be able to sync any changes or download or upload anything.
There is a, I didn't point it out, but in the settings, there's an application timeout setting. You can set that to 5 minutes, or you can set that to, 60 minutes or however much you want. So if you download all the information on an iPad, and then you know you're going to be driving to a customer location, and they're 30 minutes away, and at the stop sign you want to look some stuff up, and you don't have 4G on your iPad, you could still see everything that was on your iPad as long as you didn't time out of the application or log out of the application.
Any other questions from our audience today? Okay, well, it looks like then we will wrap this up. Again, this has been an excellent presentation. I think it opens opportunities up for both our users and business partners. I'd like to thank both Lisa and Sean for the presentation. And again, if you need more information, you can visit the AMmobile website and also contact your local business partner. So with that, thank you very much. I wish everybody a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.